welcome back to Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Tuesday, February 18th, 2020. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. If we could line up everyone in bodybuilding and pick teams the way you would for a pickup basketball game, don't you think at least 9 out of 10 people would try to pick Hadi Choopan with their first pick? Over the weekend, Hadi's team dropped a new leg training clip on Instagram that was insane for a whole bunch of different reasons. But for me, the thing that really stood out was how thick Hadi is and how he looks walking around like he's carved out of marble. And that statue that was made in honor of him in Iran, well, it looks like his twin brother. Hadi's an absolute freak of nature in the IFBB, and he's as likely as anyone to be the #1 challenger for the Olympia title later this year. So stay tuned. They say the great ones have a way of making the extraordinary look effortless. And I won't go as far as to say that Jordan Plantiko is great after only one season, but the kid certainly does have a way of making things look easy now, doesn't he? Heading into his second season, Jordan seems like he's poised to step right back in where he left off after last year's amazing rookie campaign. Classic physique is insanely deep from top to bottom, but this kid has the potential to leave his imprint all over the division if he stays consistent over the next decade. Maybe I'm dating myself a little bit here, but there was a time in bodybuilding when everyone with a magazine column loved to talk about how so-and-so was playing the quote size game. To be honest, I'm glad we stopped doing it because it sounded really silly if you go back and read any of that old stuff. But if you look at what Jeremy Buendia has been doing over the last 3 or 4 months, as much as I hate to say it, playing the size game is probably the best way to describe it. Jeremy's drive for 5 has been all about eliminating weaknesses, and so far, he seems to be on the right track. I mean, the guy was not far from winning a 5th straight title a few years ago, so if he's back on his game mentally and physically now, we'd be crazy not to take him seriously. I've seen high-level bodybuilders link up with high-level athletes enough times to know that there's always a certain degree of real recognizing real in these situations. So I'm sure that was probably the case when Brandon Hendrickson linked up with former NFL Pro Bowl wide receiver Chad OchoCinco last week. Brandon posted a few pictures on his Instagram of the two finding some time between sets to engage in a friendly pose down, which I think Brandon won pretty convincingly. Not that I'm judging. More and more through social media, we're seeing a lot of these collaborations start to happen. And when you look at the insane genetics some of these NFL guys have, maybe it'll be open door for some of them to make their way into bodybuilding once they decide it's time to finally hang up the cleats. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo reminding you to always be true to your passions. And make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.